So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video, where today we are back with a Q&A, the series where I take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. But let's get into it. Here we go and enjoy. So the first question of today is from DBD McGill12, and you say, "Hey BOA, what happens when you die in a co-op game? Where do you go to? You just disappear. Love your videos, keep up the good work." So that's correct. Whenever you're playing with 2 or more players in zombies, whenever you or one of your other teammates goes down and you don't manage to revive them, you will notice their character disappears, and then on their screen, they're going to spectate one of the other players. But the question is, as you say, well, when the character that goes down disappears, where do they go to? And then also, on the next round, they just randomly appear again. Is there a story reason, a explanation behind this? Or is it just something that we should be ignoring? I would say personally, the second one is the answer, because we've asked similar questions to this. When we come to the end of a zombies game, especially in BO3 and even in BO4, we get sent back to the frozen forest. Where is that? What is its purpose? We also saw it in Tag der Toten. That hasn't been explained to us. We do know up to a certain point our characters were trapped in a cycle, so whenever they died, they would just get sent back to the beginning. But that doesn't necessarily tell us the answer to this. Why, when we die halfway through a round, we disappear and then come back? Where we go to, I have no idea. Maybe it's the frozen forest. Maybe when our characters do disappear, in between the time of them gone and reappearing again, are they being sent back to the beginning? But that wouldn't work on co-op because we join halfway through a round. And then we also have to say, I suppose, are rounds even a part of the story? Are they actually canon and acknowledged? Or is it, again, just something gameplay wise we have to take no notice of? It is a difficult question to answer, and everything I give you is really just theories and ideas. We don't have solid proof of anything, so that's really the best I can give you. But let me know your theories in the comment section below. The next question from GP says, "Hey BOA, why does the robot in the starting cutscene of Origins try to squash the crew? Also, why is there a down robot near the tank station? Love the videos, thank you for the amazing content." So maybe some of you wouldn't have noticed this before, but the robot that we see at the very beginning of Origins, the one that steps on top of the starting room, this one right here, this giant doesn't take the same path as the regular 3 robots in the map. You can see as this robot is walking away, this is the only and last time we see one of them take this exact path. The regular 3 in the map don't step here again, it's just this one. Which first makes me wonder, which robot is this? Is this one of the 3 that we see roaming around the map, or is it a different one? Because if it is the same, then why is it taking a different route? And if it's a different robot, if this is a 4th one, then where the hell does it go and why do we not see it again? Because we know the robots are programmed to take the exact same path all of the time, hence why we see them do it in game. They were made to patrol the dig site, yet the robot at the beginning of the game takes a different path and we don't see it take this one again. Also, the Chronorium tells us that Group 935 only made 3 robots. It says on September 10th, 1917, using element 115, Group 935 constructs Freya, Odin and Thor, giant robots who they believe will secure victory for the Central Powers. So the Chronorium tells us they created 3 robots, yet we know surely that can't be true because in Origins there is a 4th downed robot. We're seeing 4 of them, yet we are told Group 935 only made 3, so either the Chronorium's wrong and they did make more, or this 4th one wasn't made by Group 935, but it's exactly the same as their robots, so it must be one of theirs. We know that the Soviets also made robots, but theirs look slightly different, and they created them by stealing Group 935's research. But this is definitely a Group 935 robot, so either they made more, or this just magically appears. That's a bit of a strange one. And then again, like I said, to do with this question, we see yet another one which potentially tells us there's 5 of them at the very beginning of the map, and that never appears again. The next question of the day from Harry James says, "Why could we never use RICHTOFEN'S head as a weapon, even though it was in the game files of Mob of the Dead?" So around the time that Black Ops 2 released, some of you may or may not remember this, depending on whether you were around that time or not, but this image was floating around. Now, during this time, we had never seen Maxis before. We had only heard of him in radios previous to this in Derice. We'd never actually seen his face, that was up until Origins. But at the beginning of BO2, this image from the BO2 files began floating around. It was leaked. And so I specifically remember a ton of people saying, well, this must be Maxis. We've never seen this face before. It doesn't look like anyone we recognise. And one of the other main characters that we've never seen is Maxis, so it must be him. Of course, now we know it isn't. His face was revealed in Origins. But it turned out that this image was actually linked with Mob of the Dead. And actually in the game files for this image, I believe it just says zombie head. But if you take a closer look at him, he does, in a way, resemble Richtofen. Yes, the hair is quite a lot longer than what we're used to, but he has that grey fade on the side which the Ultimus version of Richtofen has. His facial structure is very similar. We do know we have a zombified Richtofen in our storyline, but if we had to link this to one of our characters now, I would say it does most resemble Ultimus Richtofen. But anyway, that was all the information we really had for a couple of years. It was left there and no one really spoke about it. And then a year or two back, I believe it was now, someone by the name of Sandask YouTube, I believe that's how you actually pronounce it, but they actually posted a video of this head in Mob of the Dead. I'm not 100% sure how they did it, but they took this head from the game files. I believe they also took the exact animations and pretty much made this weapon, is what it was, come to life. It seems to be Richtofen's head as a weapon or a piece of equipment, an item that was intended to be used in cell block, pretty much the same as Grief, and it was supposed to act like the meat, where you could throw it, zombies would then be attracted to it, but obviously in the end it was scrapped and never used. So that's what this was. It wasn't Maxis's head as we all believed in the first place, and even though we don't have proof towards it, it looks like it was Richtofen, and it was essentially supposed to be a piece of meat that we throw in Grief. Why they scrapped it, I'm not too sure. Maybe they just thought it would be a stupid idea or conflict with the storyline, but it does look very cool and is something I would love to see. This is the only thing we're ever going to get. I doubt they're going to reuse this in BO5, but yeah, there we go. This is one of the scrapped items that was left in the game files for BO2. The next question from Who You Calling Pinhead says, why did Monty give us power-ups and the mystery box and tag the totem when he knew what we were doing? So, good question. If Monty knew that we were going to kill him, that we were going to get rid of him by destroying the multiverse, which would mean he would no longer exist. If Monty knew about what Primus were up to, because he did, as we saw in the Alpha Omega ending, Monty latches on to what the characters are doing, and so goes down to the basement of the house and eats Maxis. Yet in the map after that, Tag der Toten, we can see our Victor's crew are still provided with the mystery box, weapons on the wall, the pack-a-punch, the perks. We know these are all given to us by Dr. Monty, so why would he be providing the characters with these if he clearly knows we're going to kill him? Surely he would have known Victus are in on this as well, being this all-powerful being that apparently knows what our crew are doing. Why would he continue to help the characters when we're trying to kill him? Essentially killing himself if you think about it. Well, I can think of a couple of reasons for this. The first one is free will. Dr. Monty has mentioned this a couple of times. The first time in Garrod Karovi, he also talked about it in Revelations. In the ending where our crew drink the blood vials, Monty says, your free will and all that, basically saying we can essentially do what we want to and Monty can't really do anything to stop us. And like I said, in Garrod Karovi he says this.
You see, the thing is, I'm meant to stay on the sidelines, not really supposed to get involved. Free will and all that stuff. Oh, that was my idea, by the way. However, I do see stuff now and then that makes me go, ooh, that's not good. I really should do something. But the thing is, all I can really do is give things a little nudge. Sow a seed, plant an idea, see what grows, see what sticks.
I find it kind of funny how Monty says free will was actually his idea. He can't really get involved with what our characters are doing. He can only do little things here on the side. He does say, however, now and again he sees something that he doesn't like and he might get involved a little bit more than usual. But essentially he says he lets our characters do what they want because that's what free will is. However, what kind of contradicts that for me is the fact that in Alpha Omega he eats Dr. Maxis. He kills him. Surely that totally goes against free will. Plus, he was the one who created free will, so if he made it, can't he just change his own rules? I'm not really too sure on that, but possibly the reason why Monty still helps Victus is because of free will. Maybe the reason why we don't see him try to stop them in tag is down to that. I don't know, since he made it, that kind of seems a little bit weird. Surely he could go against his own rule if it means him surviving or not, but maybe not, we don't know. Another thing I thought of, and this one just seems totally random, but what if the mystery box, the perks, the pack-a-punch aren't given to us by Dr. Monty in Tag der Toten? What if they're given to us by someone else? If that's the case, you would have to ask who, and I can't give you an answer to that. I would have no idea. The only other character I can think of that has similar abilities to Monty is the Shadow Man, but from what we know, he doesn't help us out, and why would he? Us destroying the multiverse dooms him as well, so I can't see that one. I would say, so are the mystery box and that given to us by no one? I can't see how that would work. It's a very difficult question to answer, but I would say more than likely it's down to free will. Unless there is the slight chance that Monty had no idea what's going on, but we saw him eat Maxis, so that tells us otherwise.